Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to AVX Live. I'm Joe Gilderson, President of Corporate Audio Visual Services, and I am joined by my co-host, Ryan Finch, Creative Technology Director. Hey, Ryan.
Hello. How's everybody doing? But Joe, I'm not the only co-host today.
Oh,
There's
I,
another one.
I do see a third person on my screen.
Yeah,
We're battling for that co-host position. This is the episode.
well, I don't know. See, because I'm in the top left spot. This is prime real estate,
Okay.
and you're
But
down
I get
here,
the whole bottom corner. Like this is my space. This whole thing.
So,
She makes
Ryan,
a
why
good
don't
point.
you introduce our co-host?
This is our co-host. I like that. This is our co-host, Alexa Lelos, and she is an account manager at Corporate AV. She was also my co-host when I was in the hot seat last week. So you got a little practice now, and hopefully you're ready to go.
Yes, for sure. I'm here. I'm ready to go.
Well, that's good because we're totally counting on you today. I've prepared nothing.
Don't blow it.
I'm counting on you. So you got one shot at the title. That's all I can say. I mean, I got to say, last week you guys did a great job.
Thanks.
We had a really great host. Excuse me, that was a Freudian slip. We had a really great guest.
We did.
It surprises me now. But,
Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna pack it
But
up.
no, you guys did a great job. Rob Friedland was excellent. I am happy that I got to be. I believe you referred to me as the peanut gallery. Does that sound right?
That was my. I guess you did watch it, huh? So now he knows all about Kids Corner, right? Kids Corner.
Hey.
Oh, he did.
See? I've been watching.
He
I've been
knows.
watching you guys. You're very entertaining.
There we go.
Well, enough chit chat. So listen, Ryan, let's see if you still got it. Tell people how they can find us, please.
Oh, I still got it. We can be found on any of the platforms listed at the bottom of your screen. Nailed it. There we go. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. And while you're there, please drop us a comment, like, subscribe, all the above. And of course, if you do drop us a comment, we will bring you into the show. Maybe not visually, but your comment. And we can go back and forth and answer some questions and whatever you want. Drop us a comment, show some love, and of course, smash the subscribe button. There we go. And we're going to be doing this every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Come on back. We have great guests each and every week, except for this week. It's just all co-hosts. Oh, well. But we do have great content. So, again, Wednesdays, 1 p.m., and I think I hit all my points. So, there you go. Alexa, that is, as we say in the biz, how it's done.
Wow.
And,
Okay.
I'll just take your
Hold
notes.
on.
That's good. That's good.
Well, now that we covered that part, I think we should tell people what we're going to talk about today. What do you think?
Yeah.
It's a good point. That's usually your job, by the way.
Oh, well then, thank you. I think I'll take my mark. So today we're going to talk about Hopin, a virtual and hybrid events platform. Now, we have discussed Hopin before. We've discussed it in the context of all of our different virtual platforms. And the ones we typically focus on are Zoom for meetings and certain events. And certainly our fundraisers, we use onlinegalas.com as our main platform. And then for conferences, networking, and a whole variety of other events, we use Hopin. Now, we started with Hopin in the fall of 2020, and we've had a number of really cool events over the last year and a half or so. And to the point that we decided, based on all the other things that we had tried, that Hopin was going to be our horse. We were going all the way with Hopin.
Thoroughbred.
So here we are. And now we are dun, 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 a certified Hopin agency partner. That's a whole lot of words.
That is.
Which we are going to discuss what that means in just 1 second. Now, the interesting thing is we're really one of about 50 companies in the world that are certified as an agency partner. And what's even more interesting to us is that we are one of only 2 in the United States that can actually provide in-person audiovisual support. And there's only 1 other in Brussels, Belgium, that can also provide it around the world. So
Great guys.
we're like the only game in town. I mean, I don't want to say anything, but that's our interest with Hopin is how to give our clients opportunities to integrate the 2, virtual and in person. So how about we start with what is this agency partner thing all about?
Yeah, I think I can help you out there. So, being an agency partner means that we are now Hopin experts. So, as Ryan would always tell me, I'm going to be a Zoom expert. We're at that level where we're pretty much very knowledgeable about Hopin and how to use it and how to really apply it for our clients to have our events. So, there's a lot of benefits that come from being an agency partner. And that means that we took a training course. We did like 3 different parts of training. We got familiar with the site. I mean, we were pretty familiar, but now we're really able to implement that and use it for clients to kind of really customize the pages for them and make that really an overall experience. It also means that we now have a licensed agency. So if people have like 1,000 attendees, they can use our platform as opposed to getting their own Hopin page. And we can host them and really help them through the whole transition of their event. Another great feature that comes along with that is that we are able to access this Sandbox Demo Kit, and that is allowing us to kind of go through and show our clients a demo. So they might be like, I like the idea of Hopin, but can you show me what that actually looks like? So with the demo page that I will be showing actually in a little while, it allows us to kind of break it down in easier terms. And sometimes people who are visual learners, it's good for them to be able to see everything and go, oh, okay, that's the networking portion. That's the expo booth. That's what that looks like. And that's how we could use it to our advantage for our event. So there's a lot of advantages of becoming our agency certification there.
And what was that certification process like?
I mean, it wasn't too bad for me. I broke it up into days. I stayed organized, but
It's because you're a true Hopin expert, obviously.
exactly. But yeah, it wasn't too terrible, but it was definitely informative, and we got a lot out of it.
Well, that's good. I mean, look, there's so much capability when it comes to this particular platform versus others, and there's a lot of flexibility, which ultimately comes down to, Joe, what do we always say? There's like 1,000 little boxes to check. And I think that's kind of what the gist of it here is knowing what those boxes do, when to check one and not the other, and ultimately as an agency partner, it's now our job to help a client choose not just what boxes to check, but also to to produce it from from an entire event perspective. I know Hopin, and we're going to talk about this in just a couple minutes, but Hopin is going in the direction of an all-encompassing event management solution versus just a platform.
It's really very cool. So, Alexa, just to kind of recap a couple of your points, you had mentioned customizable registration pages, which is so much better than what it used to be. Certainly, the clients can use our license, which is such a big deal. Because, I mean, I don't want to lie, this costs a lot of money. So, like, if everybody had to go do it, they probably wouldn't do it. And then, what you're referring to as this the sandbox, I think we'll be able to walk people through that. But the number one thing we've found is that people have to be on Hopin to actually see it. And, like you were saying, visually oriented, like you just have to experience it.
Right.
So, well, listen, Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about what is new on Hopin?
Well, there are some new features, one of which I really wish I could show you right now, but I can't, but I will tell you about it. Virtual backgrounds.
Wow.
There's more to it. It's not just that. So StreamYard. StreamYard is a platform for doing your own, we'll call it small scale broadcasts. You are watching a StreamYard broadcast production right now.
Hey, Ryan, you want to see something? Watch this. Bam.
Wow, look, we use their branding. Now we get paid for this. I'm just kidding. We don't.
No.
We don't get paid at all. And you chopped off my head. Anywho.
I took kind of pleasure in that.
I'm sure you did. So StreamYard is, or has recently been, or in the last 6 months or so, bought by Hopin. And so the nice part about that is now it's directly integrated. So you can actually send this type of broadcast, this type of production, which there's a lot more, and we're going to show you in just a second, directly into your main stage. So now you're able to elevate the content of your main stage, have a little bit more control over what it looks like, hey, we want it to look like this now, or you know what, Alexa's going to say a couple things. Anyway, this is not entirely about StreamYard, but it is kind of a nice feature to know that it doesn't take a full broadcast production team to elevate the quality of your content. Now, I will say, sometimes you do want full creative control, in which case we would do that slightly differently, and that still is an option for the Hopin main stage. You could have and we're going to talk about the differences and how we could approach a hybrid event in just a little bit. But, again, this part mostly about the fact that you can directly integrate StreamYard into the main stage. Virtual backgrounds are now a new feature in StreamYard, and there's also a way for a slideshow. So if you had a simple presentation and you wanted to say, I don't know, share your screen, well, you could always share your screen, but now you can actually integrate an actual slideshow, which is much more user-friendly because you get the people who are like, I don't know how to share my screen, and then the windows on windows on windows. So it's a little bit easier to go through it this way. And so that is, another nice aspect. We can star some comments. If anyone wanted to, drop us a comment like I asked earlier, and you're being very rude right now by not doing that, I could star those. That's kind of more for us in the backstage. There's a few other, little integration or little improvements on the StreamYard side. Moreover, on the Hopin side, there's also the ability now to add closed captions to your sessions. Obviously, accessibility has become just an increasingly important aspect of virtual events. It's, we have the capability, and so now the answer is you have to, right? It was very difficult previously. Now it's getting easier and easier. So, it begs the question, are you doing enough to make your event accessible? So there's a little button down at the bottom of the screen in Hopin. If you're familiar with the platform, and you will be very shortly if you've stuck with us, there's a little button that this gentleman is pointing to up here on the left-hand side, closed caption, and then you pop that, and you can see people talking right next to their name.
Very big fingers.
Huge fingers. Other than that, a few other new features, enhanced email communication. Obviously, staying in touch with your attendees, super important. A lot of groups have chosen to do that outside of the platform because they were more kind of cookie cutter templates for what you can send through Hopin. Again, moving into more of an event management solution, you can actually send much more customized emails to segments of your audience. There's just a lot more functionality there. Another thing that I like a lot, early access, which basically means we can launch the event earlier than the event starts. So the content hasn't started yet, but the event is open. So now you can go in, you can chat with one another, you can set appointments with each other. You're kind of creating that community feel, that attendee community feel a little bit earlier in the game, and just getting a little bit more out of the platform than just the day or 2 days or 3 days of your event. There's ways to now make announcements. That was one thing that we struggled with on the production side. It was like, how do I just let everyone know that they should do this right now? Well, now super easy. We click a button on the production side. Hey, everyone, please join us in the main stage for a special announcement, or please join us in the expo booth for a live demo of blah, blah, blah. A little bit closer to that in-person event experience where someone could literally just shout at you and tell you to do something. So that's certainly a feature that we were happy to see. What else? Well, actually, Joe, this is your favorite part. This is at least in our opinion, the best thing that they've added, right? The branded registration page. Alexa, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, here it comes. There's your screen. Nice job.
Wow. That was so good. Hey, Ryan,
obviously,
can I show you something else that's new?
Oh, how'd you do that?
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I've been studying, man.
Apparently, I haven't been studying enough. Well, in any case, I'm going to put them back on the side. Look,
All
see,
right.
I figured it out. It took me 2 seconds. This obviously was a demo page created for our friends at the WCA. Westchester County Association. And really what it is just a very simple registration page that has a lot more customization so that you can make it feel a little bit more fun, engaging. You can carry your event themes through a little bit further than was typically available. You can highlight your phenomenal speakers. Look at them. Wow, incredible. And then, of course, you still have the same functionality. You have your schedule on there. You can still add things to your calendar. It does the same things. There we go. Platinum investors, our friends at Burke Rehab. Hi there. We can, it does the same things that the traditional Hopin registration page did, but with the added benefit of it actually looks like a really nice, simple, branded webpage. So there are a few different templates we can go through and customize. As opposed to, thank you,
the kind of more basic.
The more
version.
basic.
Yeah,
right.
The more basic version.
Which is fine. Now look, the branded one takes more time. Right. So it's more build time. But if you wanted something that was just lower costs, straight to the point, the basic functionality is certainly okay too. Now that's enough of that, Alexa, because we're going to come back to that.
Check out that booth though.
That's great. No, see, you're getting, you're seeing too much
right
too
off
soon.
of Joe's LinkedIn.
There we go. All right, I'm taking it out of here. You're off.
Great photo.
You're off. Joe, I know you wanted to talk about integrations.
I don't know. I mean, I was pretty into what Alexa was doing there. Once you got to that booth, I mean,
oh, geez.
Do we need to talk anymore?
There you go. Now your head's bigger. Perfect.
Whoa, that's what we need. I should zoom in on myself. Hold on. Now let's talk integrations. All right, because this is something that's definitely different, and that Hopin has more capabilities than other things. Okay, so literally in our back end of the system, we have access to a whole variety of different software that will just naturally integrate. Now, I'm sure we have a lot of our corporate clients that are familiar with Slack. Okay. Everybody has heard about, of course, Twitter and Slido, corporate again. But how about GoFundMe? That's something new that now you can actually request donations. You link it directly and it'll literally pop up on everybody's page. They can just click a tab on the right-hand side and they're integrated in. Another one that's really interesting is Kahoot. And Kahoot's gamification. So there's different games you can bring up. And I think that's going to be really interesting for when we get to our discussions on how to have both virtual and an in-person experience. But it's one other way that Hopin is just much further ahead of everybody else, to be honest. I mean, look at all the email communication tools, MailChimp, HubSpot, Marketo, Salesforce. There's just a lot of capability. And in our case, it's just a matter about trying to figure out what's the best fit for each client.
That was great. Very informative.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And you know why? Because Alexa
is a true Hopin expert. That's good. Also, I should mention this because it is important. Obviously, things like HubSpot, CRM, Marketo, those are really like closely tied into organizations, sales and marketing, and all of these processes that exist. If seeing this, or if going through the process of producing a Hopin event and it seems like Hopin is right for your organization on a greater sense, we can also help you with the onboarding to get your own account, tie those directly to your systems, and just kind of make that a little bit more of a seamless, product for you to integrate directly with the platform. Of course, we can still help you build the events and run them, and we can still be the on-site presence, but you can also sign up yourself if it seemed right for you. So why don't we go through, do a quick live demo? Again, that sandbox thing that Alexa mentioned, we now have access to, so it's just a lot easier for us to show and tell. So why don't we show and tell? Look at that. That was perfect. Nailed it. Wow.
So here's the Sandbox demo. I did customize it a little bit just to be branded towards us. But as we were saying, this is a registration page. So this is something your attendees would see first. This is where they would come to create a Hopin account. They could see, okay, who's going to be speaking? Which stage do I want to go to? Is there speed networking? Which booths are going to be there? It's just the kind of general overview of everything, and they'll click enter the event, and then that will go right to their integration. So they'll be able to, the day of, have a notification, hey, the Hopin event is about to start. And then when the event actually begins, they'll be right into the reception. So over here on the left side, this is your navigation bar. You're going to have the stage, which is generally you have like keynote speakers or, your main kind of people are at the stage. So if I clicked on stage, it says this person's starting at a certain time. And then once it starts, you're going to be right into the video. It will either be a live video if you'd like to stream in there, or it could be pre-recorded as well. So either one, if you're like, oh, you know what, my CEO doesn't really like live speaking, he can pre-record his video and put it right in here.
It could also be StreamYard, remember?
It could also be StreamYard.
I went through that at length. It could be this that you're watching right now. Could be
Yes,
right where you're
exactly.
seeing, like a whole video inception kind of thing going on.
So
There you go,
are you
continue.
saying that the stage is like our general session?
Exactly. And you can even change the name. If you didn't want it to say stage, you could have it say general session or something even different that's more customized to your branding,
Wow.
which is a very nice feature.
Hey,
It
do
is
you
a nice
guys
feature.
know, can we have more than one stage?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Wow. And that was said because you are a true Hopin expert.
Yes, for sure.
Well, I know that that's one of those features that we did not have previously.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's great.
That is true.
Really cool.
Is there more content down below? Like if you scroll down?
No, because this is just
Well,
a test.
it says testing. So yes,
So,
there could
yeah.
be.
Yeah, there could be. You could
Ancillary
write in the
material.
description. Yeah. On the right side is where you, as the audience member, could interact. So you can type a chat in here. We could put a poll in for somebody if you want to ask, have kind of get that information, that data out of the audience watching, and Q&A as well. So moving on to the sessions feature. This is great for breakout sessions. So if you want to break up your event a little bit, people are getting a little antsy, they want to kind of experience something else. They can come into a breakout session. So you can do also as many breakout sessions as you'd like, naming them different things. You click right into the breakout session and you would start your audio, your video, and it's a great way for people to be on screen and interacting as well. Again, you can chat on the side. Everyone can have conversations. Sessions, I think, is just a really cool way for people to feel a little bit more engaged. So if it is hybrid, people are in the room and you want to have that feeling of they're sitting at a table and they're talking to each other. Well, if you want to go into a session and, kind of have a conversation with the speaker or be able to kind of have that side conversation, I think this is a really cool tool for people to be able to use. Is there anything you guys wanted to add for sessions?
I actually have something to add. Ryan, am I allowed to add something?
Yes, you are.
Oh, remember how we were talking about those integrations with like GoFundMe?
I do.
Where it would show up is right next to that Q&A tab on the right-hand side for the session.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually put it per session.
Nice.
They also have like is it Slido?
Slido.
Yeah. So if your group happened to use more of like a premium polling or audience response product, you could assuming it integrates with Hopin, which most do, you would see that also on the right hand panel. I think the nice thing, or the thing I want to point out most about sessions, is this is where you can have a lot of things happening at the same time. And that's one of the key distinctions between something like Zoom, which we'll talk about towards the end. Is Zoom is a little bit more one track, right? This is what's happening. Yes, it has breakout room tools. They work pretty well. This is much further beyond capability wise to be able to have a lot of different conversations, a lot of separate conversations and interactions happening live at the same time.
For sure.
Wow. That blew my mind.
I try.
Thanks.
One thing I want to add as well is the nice thing about Hopin is that as I'm going down through, the reception where they come in to the stage, to the sessions, they don't have to exit the platform and, be taken to another screen. Everything is on one page for them. So they're not having to navigate and get lost and be like, oh no, where'd my tab go for this? Everything is all on one page. And
Where's the link?
Exactly. And there's no downloading anything. So as we were talking to the Hopin representative yesterday too, that's something for like the older generation. Maybe they don't like to download things on their computer. It kind of scares them a little bit. They're like, I don't want to download this. Not having to download anything has been very important as well.
Hey, Ryan, have you checked the demographics of our show, AVX Live?
I have not.
Hopefully we haven't offended anyone.
No offense at all. Disclaimer, no offense. No offense.
All right, now we're offended.
All right, let's keep this thing moving.
Yeah, let's keep moving.
So the next really, really important tool we have here is networking. And I think this is what really distinguishes Hopin from a lot of the other platforms with the hybrid virtual side of things, is that you can click on networking and really be taken into a separate room with someone else who's also in the Hopin platform at this event. And you can talk to them and, network. Hey, which company do you work for? Find that relationship building that you might not have when you're just watching a Zoom webinar. And from the back end, we can set this up to be maybe 3 minutes or 2 minutes, however long you want it to be, so that people don't feel kind of awkward, like they have to be stuck talking to someone. They can have the chance to have a small conversation and then move on, and then have another person join if they'd like to stay in the networking portion.
One of the things that I found very interesting about the networking is that it can be designed to apply to each style or type of ticket. So if we wanted exhibitors to talk to exhibitors, or maybe we wanted VIPs to talk with other VIPs, we could actually design it that way on the back end, so that then they would be networking with maybe the group that they're more inclined to discuss things with.
Right, exactly. That's super important too. And then lastly, at the very bottom, you'll see the expos. So this is where your vendors will show up. This
And
is
put
Joe's
pictures
favorite
of
part.
themselves playing the drums.
Yeah.
So
Now
if I
it's a
click
party.
into the booth, we can customize each booth as well. So each vendor gets kind of their own page to network as well. So here I just put in our last week's AVX Live. So you can insert a video and then put a little description on the bottom of what your company does. And on the side, people can register their interest level. They can have a chat with you. And you can just kind of network as well, which is really cool for vendors to be able to reach out.
And my favorite feature of this is on the back end, right? You can, as an expo vendor, there could be 100 of them, 200 of them. You can each manage your own booth, update your own content, fill things out yourself. It's not all filtering through one person. We just send you your invite to manage your booth. You'd set it up. We can organize, by tier or by group, by industry. And then the best part is this content you're looking at right now, obviously is a video, but at a click of a button for a person who is quote unquote manning the booth, they could just pop on screen and say, hey, who wants to have a conversation? Who wants to talk? Or maybe they got a question and they say, hey, meet me in the booth. And instead of now looking at the video, you see a rep from that organization. So you can either be on or off screen and leave content as a placeholder at any time. That way, if you need to step away or you need to take a call or what have you, you have that flexibility at the literal click of a button.
Definitely. That's super important.
So we went through our tabs. Alexa, is there anything else that we should show as far as the demo goes?
No, I think that's about it. It's just having all these types of interactions and polls. It's really engaging for your audience. So I think that kind of segues into the next kind of discussion here that Joe's going to take over about how can this work for being useful for a hybrid type of event.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that was like my line, so I'm out.
Wow. Really,
No.
you stole his question.
No. I mean, the hybrid scenario is actually why we've been so involved in trying to find a platform that fits, because we need to integrate people online with people in the room. And that's what we've been focused on the whole time, is how do we get to the next step? And Hopin has proven to have a lot of capability. Even just in that one piece on networking. I mean, look, Hopin does have an app for your phone. Okay. You can go onto App Store, go into Google Play Store and download those apps. you can now network right from there with someone who's online. And I think that's where we're going to. So maybe, Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you think, how this could work for a hybrid event?
Absolutely, because you were totally stealing my thunder and taking some of my points here, but
I know, I tried.
that's okay.
Alexa did it to me, I did it to you.
That's right. Well, the buck stops here, folks. Anywho, so at a glance, right, as far as how we can produce a hybrid event using Hopin, the key is to consider it as a multi-track venue, meaning if you just need to do a webinar, Hopin may not be your platform. If you just need to do a single live stream of content on your stage, maybe isn't the best suited. If you want a more encompassing event experience, regardless of whether or not you are in the room, that's where Hopin comes in. So our recommendation always is to take full advantage of the possibilities to get the most out of the platform. It is set up for multi-track, as I alluded to earlier. You can have concurrent sessions, stages. You have your expo booths. You can have a lot of things happening at the exact same time, just like you would have in an in-person event.
Ryan, I have a question.
Okay.
How many breakout rooms can I have, or sessions?
Alexa actually is the Hopin expert.
I wasn't ready. Whoa.
The buck doesn't stop here, folks. Alexa, answer that question. A lot. I know the answer is a lot.
Yeah.
We've never had to push it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
100. I don't know. There you go. A lot. You're probably not going to need that many, because ultimately, when it comes down to do we need 200 of something, usually those are more expo booths, and I know we can have really as many as we need. So thank you for throwing that curveball question at me. Otherwise, the point I made earlier, as far as this becoming a more, we'll call it, encompassing event management tool, right, is that you can have that concurrent conversations, and you can also have interactions between people who are in the room and people who are not in the room. The networking is really a key feature as far as Hopin goes. The in-person audience, obviously, they have their networking built in. They're rubbing elbows, they're bumping into people and having conversations. What? You didn't like the rubbing elbows? That's not a Kids Corner reference. There you go, right? The remote audiences obviously need the platform to help them facilitate that conversation. And so, as Alexa just showed you earlier, at a click of a button, it's like a round robin type of deal, and you could be meeting with people. If we launched it earlier, right? If we did that early access, like I alluded to, you could thank you, Alexa. I saw you bring that up. There you go, networking. You can also, and this is something we haven't really showed you, but you can also have an impromptu one-on-one or up to 5 people at any time with people that you've networked with. So maybe you're an in-person attendee sitting at a table with their lunch at their side, opened up their laptop to answer a few emails, and then, hey, Alexa Lilos made a really great point. I heard that question come in from the virtual audience. I wanted to network with her. Well, I could very easily find Alexa Lilos in the People tab. Boom! Nice. Look at that. You were ready. We didn't even practice this.
Over here, yeah. And you can schedule a meeting.
And you could schedule a meeting with that person. There you go. So again, the networking goes beyond just the scheduled networking. It also goes to the, we'll call it, impromptu interactions between people who are in the room and people who are not in the room. So of course, again, the main stage could be live streamed. It could be virtual via StreamYard. It can be live streamed from the venue with a camera, how we would typically, live stream anything. We could go into a room with cameras and lights and sound, and probably all that stuff is going to be in that in that room anyway, and stream that out to the main stage so you can see what's happening. Maybe you ask a question and we submit that. Maybe there's somebody who is monitoring those questions and a voice of God from the back of the room, which is pretty common. Hey, we have a question from the audience. Alexa Lilos has asked blah, blah, blah. And that way, again, you can now comment on what's going on and be part of the program, whether you're in person or virtual. Same thing with sessions, right? Maybe we're streaming some of the content in one of the breakout rooms that's happening to a session that is, in the sessions tab. And maybe you're watching what's happening in the room, but in a breakout room as opposed to the main stage. Or Maybe it's a completely virtual session and it's only available to people who are all virtual.
That's interesting.
That is
isn't it?
interesting because we tend to think of this as either one or the other. And ultimately, I think the flexibility of schedule is something that you need to consider. This is an overall or a holistic approach to events. This person may be able to be in person for the 12 o'clock keynote, but maybe at 2 o'clock, they got to go somewhere. They got to take a call or they got to do something else. And now they're going to be from home. Well, it'd be nice for that person to be able to just log on and watch more content that way or experience completely different content. And with the schedule feature, they could save that to their agenda. They could build out their calendar that way. And again, we've blurred the lines between in-person and virtual.
Hey, Ryan, do you know that one of the recommended things to do when you're creating tickets is to actually create a virtual ticket and an in-person ticket?
I do believe that because that is exactly what I would recommend doing.
Well, because, some of this used to exist in the past, but
Right.
those two different ticket prices right there. And all of the
Yep.
funding connects directly to your bank account. Just saying.
Just saying. It's a great
Just
idea.
saying.
So
you don't even
actually
have to have GoFundMe, but you can route it to me. It's
Joe Gilderson. There you go. The registration aspect actually you just touched on brings you back to integrations, right? Because I think that's where there are some new tools that Hopin's picked up that ultimately drive it home for being that event management software. And one of which is, a product that already existed on the market. Some of you may be familiar with, which is Boomset. Boomset offers a suite of tools for in-person audiences, whether it's registration processes that now connect directly with your virtual, whether it's check-in or badge printing or kiosks for, like virtual check-in. I'm here. Here's my name. Look me up. Great. RFID, which sometimes you want to just exchange quick information or have badges that have a little bit more information attached to it. Cashless payments, lead retrieval, smart sessions, things that already were helpful, in the in-person arena now connect directly to Hopin to, again, further integrate that experience of being in person and virtual. And that also goes to the analytical side too, because now you can tell who's checked in person, and your your analytics at the end of the event will have a much more all-encompassing view on what is or what has taken place. There you go. Way to go. Look at that.
Look at those analytics.
Analytics.
I mean, you can track anything and everything. There's almost too many reports, to be quite honest, but you know everything. You know everything about everybody, wherever they touched. If they went to a booth, you know it. You know how long they went to the booth. And I mean, where this comes in handy, of course, is on your follow-up afterwards. You can now connect with everybody and you'll have real data to sell. Okay. So listen, you guys did a demo. Ryan, you've talked about some of the new points and some of the different pieces, why Hopin's different, how people can use it. But listen, I'm a regular company. All my people use Zoom. What about Zoom for a hybrid event?
Zoom is a very common platform for hybrid events, and it is fine for what it does. It's actually more than fine. It's great at what it does. The key point there is at what it does, right? So this is a great tool for generally one-track content. That is, there's one thing happening and we are sending it somewhere. We're bringing other people this content virtually. Again, we use it a lot. It is more of a live stream option in most cases when it comes to hybrid. Are there options for getting people to literally be seen and heard in the room? Yes, absolutely. The live exchange of people virtual and people in person, Zoom is fantastic at. And ultimately, I think that makes it a right solution for a lot of things. But again, it's centered around there being one thing happening at that time, not multiple things happening at that time. Once it gets simultaneous content or virtual real estate, it just doesn't have features for that. Now, I will say that Zoom Events is something that is coming out. I believe it's still in beta right now. I would say it's still light years behind Hopin overall. So for the time being, the all-encompassing event management software, hybrid event solution, Hopin really wins when it comes to again, more things happening at the same time versus Zoom.
Very cool. Very cool. Anything else that you can think of, Alexa, that would relate Zoom to Hopin?
Yeah, just going off of what Ryan said, I think Zoom is good and it does its job, but Hopin to me, from the user end as well, because I actually, when we did Pirate University back in August of last year, I couldn't make it to the office that day because of the flooding that was going on. So I had to use Hopin for that second day. And my experience was still really good. Like I still felt I got all the information out of the people speaking. I was able to kind of look around, see how things were going. I obviously missed the maybe in-person like side conversations that might have gone on, but I
We were
really
all
did,
talking about you.
of course. But I thought that I was like, wow, this is actually a really good platform for me to still be involved and still ask questions and be engaged. So that was really cool for me to do, even just as an audience, like an attendee, to be able to do. It just has different integrations and different networking sides to it than a Zoom event would.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. And that's why we ran Pirate University as a hybrid event. We had certain things where you had to have your hands-on equipment for demonstration. And so those were here in our building. And then we had other presentations and communication that was done remotely. And we had people from around the country, not only watching, but participating.
Right.
So it made for a really great way to do it. And it was very easy, I thought. Ryan, I was thinking about one thing that's different with Hopin. If you're running a session, right? If I'm in person and I'm at the Javits Center or I'm at Orlando Convention Center, I can really only attend one breakout room at a time. Here, I can attend multiple at the same time.
Wow. I mean, if you could pay attention to that many things, you certainly could.
Well, sometimes you got to put a little FaceTime in some places, and others you might be more interested in the content. I'm just saying.
Fair. Multitasking at a new level.
New level.
I mean, look, if I had multiple devices, I could actually attend 3 or 4. Just saying.
Good point. Food for thought. Food for thought.
Well, look, I think we're. Hold on. Ryan, I think I see a comment.
Is there a learning curve? And if so, are there any recommendations for things clients can do to help this process along for their audiences? Thank you, Marissa. I would say, is there a learning curve? Yes, there's no question. I will say that among the other players in this category, and by category I mean a virtual or hybrid conference platform, I would say the learning curve is the lowest out of what we've seen. What we typically tell audiences and presenters and clients coming into Hopin for the first time is expect that the first 5 to 10 minutes of anybody showing up for the first time is going to be a figuring it out. But if a learning curve of 5 to 10 minutes is more or less what we can expect, then that's something you can work with, because typically these types of programs are full day or multi-day. And so, again, if you do open up or you give that early access and let people get in ahead of time to check things out, then that 5 to 10 minutes can happen before the program even starts. But in general, the way it's laid out, the simplicity, the features that are included, and the things that aren't included, by design, I think that overall makes that learning curve as low as it reasonably could be. Look, it's not Zoom. It's not one thing. It's not mute and unmute. There's a lot more going on. So of course there would be, but again, here you go. You got it up on screen. Left hand is navigation. Right hand is interaction and engagement. Content's in the middle. 5 to 10 minutes and you'll have your way around it. And of course, if you watch this, then you're already
every time.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And the reality is we don't use all of the buttons on the left for every event. The minimum are 2. You have a reception, and then you have one other space. But we just cater it to whatever the client needs. So you could very easily just have a main stage, and maybe you have a networking, or maybe you have just the reception and you have a session. So it can be used any way you'd like. It's very flexible, but it's designed that it can handle more, it has more capability than everything else we've seen. while you can still use it in a small manner as well. So it's really been a great tool. Thank you guys for your demonstration today. I'm really very impressed. It almost makes me think that Alexa's a true Hopin expert.
I think I need a shirt with that.
That's a great
True
idea.
Hopin
I think
expert.
this should be your shirt. That's
All right, that
Certified
sounds
partner.
yeah. That's you in a nutshell right there. Well, listen, I think we're at 45 minutes. We're going to wrap up, but this will be a great resource for people if they want to learn a little bit more about Hopin, because as I'm hearing from a lot of our clients is they're trying to figure out how they're going to approach the spring season. Many are considering some form of hybrid. And so I think this is a great resource and a great tool for them in trying to make those decisions. Ryan, I'm going to let you wrap us up here because you're still the co-host for today. Alexa was really good, though.
That's right. Well, she's the
Really
co-host.
I don't know.
I'm approaching that co-host position. He's saying, like,
Do you see yourself still in the same position that you were in when the show started? So
yeah, I said I have the whole. Boom.
I didn't even know you could do that. There you go.
But I did.
Okay. Well, I'll just look. Now I got more space. That's what you said, right? Now I got the whole bottom half of the screen. Anyway, you can find us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. And of course, if you find us on one of those channels, please drop us a like, a comment, hit the subscribe button, smash it if you will. And we will, of course, appreciate the love. And if you want to come back each and every week, we'll have new guests and new content to go through. Yeah, that's what we got for today.
Everybody
what do you say?
hit the kids' corner on the way out.
Hit the kids' corner. Boom! Oh, gosh.
That did not feel good. I'm not going to lie.
That's just horrible.
All right, Ryan, we're out of here. Let's
Deal.
take us home.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys.
Adios.